Policy.
Well, that's what,
My at least that my
somebody
TLDR.
replaces her.
Do you get those emails?
She does. She forwards some to me, so I just got it.
Wow, Michelle, you're on camera.
Don't make faces. Remember.
Yeah.
You can hide your.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
How do I do that? How do I hide myself?
Just hit both these buttons right here.
Oh.
Click on the camera.
All right, evening, everybody. Before our select board meeting tonight, we're gonna have a public hearing on the fiscal year fiscal year budget 2027. And starting that public hearing at 7:01 PM. Kevin, what do you want to do? Do you want to
Just open it up for the
just
public.
open it up
I mean,
for any questions,
we are-
comments? Please stand up and just let us know who you are.
I'll mention our municipal budget is proposed to be 0.06% increase from the prior year. That doesn't include the school budget or the county budget. And when you factor in all three of those, I think Michelle can share the budget summary document. When you look at all of those, it's actually a 2.74% increase on the expenditures. Our revenues went up a little bit, but not enough to offset it. So it's, when you look at your property taxes, you'll likely see a 3% increase. But that's not because of the municipal budget that's tied to school and county increases. That's the information to share ahead of this. The committee of the finance committee, along with the select board, have met in workshop about 3 meetings. The select board has had 3 or 4 meetings related to the budget. They've already essentially set this, but now it's time to hear from the public, which will then influence the warrant articles that are later in the meeting tonight. With that, there's members of the public.
Does anybody have a comment on the budget?
Yeah.
Roger?
Well. I wasn't able to end last week. I had an emergency at home. And I want to thank Karen and Rufus for trying to support my position on the warrant. I'm not in favor of this budget. But more so, I'm upset that you believe it's too much of a burden for the people to read these amendments on the ballot. 20 minutes out of a lifetime for a budget that's going to spend $3.5 million. $3.5 million. And you don't think they should stand there and read those? And, you know, they have options. They can look at this items on the budget and other places, and they can come to the polls, and where they've already read these articles, they know how they're going to vote, because it's going to take 20 minutes. But for the people who don't, they need to read these, and they need to know where they're spending $3.5 million. And that's my issue. I absolutely think we should have an in-person town meeting, and we don't. And I definitely think that at least those articles should be on the ballot for people to read. And I just think that it's absurd that that's the way you're going to go. And the other thing of that is, if the budget is voted down, how are you going to know what fits? We talked about that the last time. You said, well, we're going to have an exit poll. So you got all these articles on there. How do you know where you got to repair something? You don't know. So, I mean, to me, it doesn't make any sense to do that. Taxes are getting to be an issue everywhere. Every town around us and cities and towns are voting down these budgets. And so, Ben, you said that, well, in 20 years, we've never had an article voted down. Well, don't get too used to that, because I think it's going to be happening. Okay, it's going to come here. So as far as I'm concerned, I know of 3 towns right now in the state of Maine that are voting to become an unorganized territory because they can't support a down budget. They can't raise enough taxes. And I wish we were in that position to do the same thing, because I think it's a much better deal than what we have. So, I mean, for me, I'm going to vote this budget down, because I will not support it, because there's things in there I don't like. So that's what I got to say.
Thanks, Roger. Anybody else? Kevin? Can you come up,
Yes,
Kevin? Do you mind coming up to the seat
Sure.
so we can see you?
I was wondering, the snowplow contract. Is that up? We have two snowball contracts, don't we? In town sidewalks. And what do you call the other one?
Just snow
Roads.
on roads.
Road.
Yeah.
Is that one up this spring?
Is it what, up?
Renewal now.
Renewal,
The price, the cost, the budget item, is it up?
The contract is.
The contract.
contract, is it up this spring?
No, the contract we signed last year.
I thought that was in town with the sidewalks.
They're
They were,
combined, right?
no, they're two separate years. Contract was signed last year and the one the year before was the other one.
So there's no contract this year,
There's no contract up for
renewal?
renewal or discussion this year.
I thought it was gonna be, no,
No, I think there's 2 more years left on it. 2
On
more
the-
winter seasons.
on the roads.
On both, I've lined both contracts up so they're not staggered. They're both ready for discussion in 2 years.
I see. Then I just got one more on a Hopkins Hill Road being reconstructed, have you got a progress report on it?
I do, it's in the manager report for tonight. That one will be done in 4 to 5 weeks. So at this point, all of the drainage work is done, the culverts, the catch basins. The next step is reclaiming. However, the machine is down, so that will probably be done next week. Then asphalt plant isn't open yet, but it should be very soon.
So that's what they're gonna do, they're gonna grind,
Reclaim and then do the base pave.
and they're not gonna reconstruct that road, dig it out, put new gravel in it all.
Yes, I mean, that's part of the reclaim work that's being done.
What's the depth of that gonna be?
I would have to find the document with the information in there.
They said though,
They did.
yep. I was just up there and I didn't see any machines up there, and I just wondered if they were just waiting to.
The machine they use for that is broken, so that's why it's kind of quiet at the moment.
I see,
They were up there hammering last week. I think
Yeah.
there was a piece of ledge they were hammering on. And
They just finished the drainage work. Yeah.
I was more concerned that when they were gonna grind that up, they were gonna still dig the road up the whole length. Is that what they were gonna do?
There's a length up to just short of the cemetery, I think was the plan. I don't have the specifics in front of me, Kevin.
No, does any of the select board know anything about it?
My understanding is it's major reconstruction of the road, so digging it up, replacing base, it's more than just taking up the pavement.
Is it the whole length though?
Well, it doesn't go to the cemetery, it goes to
Short of that.
short of the cemetery, so we get to the crest of the hill.
Yep,
There's dirt, it turns to more dirt than it is now. And then the cemetery's down at the bottom of it, so basically to the top of the crest of the hill.
does it go to the US Route 1?
At the entry,
Yes,
yes,
they're gonna dig, put new gravel in there.
oh, underneath the base, I don't know, Kevin, I don't know. Like are you talking about the right of way right at Route 1 or down the hill?
The road, the town road itself, the whole length of the town road.
So I don't know the exact details of that.
Does anybody? You,
No,
Kevin?
stop it.
I'm sure it's in the contract, but this isn't budget.
No,
Can Kevin look for a minute and then we discuss it after we actually have the budget discussion?
because it definitely needs it, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
The
It's
whole
not that,
thing's getting repaved.
I mean,
Reclaim existing pavement, so that'd be all the way from Route 1 up to the crest of the hill.
Yeah, I understand that, but are they gonna put gravel, when they reclaim, what, I don't understand that.
Reclaiming is, it's a machine that, what we did on Academy Hill Road is.
Yeah, it grinds up.
Reclaiming, grinds up the asphalt that's there and punches it down into the dirt.
That's all it does, and they'll put an overlay of that,
And they'll put a new base on top of that,
that,
and then an overlay in a few years. Other year.
I don't think that's gonna work. They gotta have gravel under it.
I understand the cost to excavate and put in all of that additional work is more than the $600,000 we have for this project.
So I just wondered why wouldn't you want to do it right?
The value of the assessed value of the properties that are on that road would never, on an ROI status, would never pay for that improvement. But unless there was a pass-through road that connected back up to maybe Academy Hill Road. I know many years ago, they took that bridge out over the train track, but it's essentially a private driveway for a dozen or so homes on that road. The cost, there has to be a discussion about benefit to cost ratio. So as a community, do we support building those roads that have very little traffic to the standard of a Route 1 or the standard of a 17 or do we allow our small town roads that are just essentially dead ends to be a little less expensive for the rest of the community to pay for because of the lower traffic volumes? But I think that's the argument to be made. 600,000 versus probably a $2 million project.
And that never went out to bids, did it?
It did not. We worked with our contractor to find a good price and we agreed to it. And we budgeted that last fiscal year.
Never thought about going out to bid?
Not as part of that process, no.
No. I was just wondering, the other thing is I noticed he's grading some town roads up now.
Yep, that started a little earlier than the water still coming out of the ground, but yep.
Was the select boards aware of that?
No, I don't think the select board was made aware of the early approach.
Do we have a road commissioner?
We do.
Who's that?
We wrote, that'd be Seth Hager.
The posted signs. There's no road commissioner's signature on the posted signs. Why is that?
Kevin, these are questions that aren't necessarily relevant for the budget process. We can deal with,
Well,
we can deal with our road commissioners.
It
Laws
is if you
later
let me,
date.
it is if you let me finish.
Okay,
And
I don't know why he didn't sign those I didn't know he didn't sign them.
it just says the town of Newcastle, that's all it says.
Okay,
And by the looks, and he's done some damage on these town roads where there's hot top going to gravel.
yeah,
Yeah, you guys aware of it?
I was just made aware of it this evening.
Have you seen it?
Nope, haven't been out there yet. I was just made aware of it about half an hour before I came to this meeting.
5 of you gonna go out and look?
I'll go out tomorrow, yeah.
I mean, are you concerned?
I don't know if I need to be concerned
I see,
until I see it.
I see. Yeah,
Kevin, can we get back to the budget though?
but that
You said you're gonna
that
get-
is a budget, because, you know, we're gonna be repairing it is what it is.
no, the asphalt issues are being dealt with internally. That's not gonna be the town's responsibility to fix what got damaged.
Oh, is that it? All right, very good, thank you.
Any other comments on the budget? Wanda, can you come first and then gentleman behind you?
Sure.
Yeah, please.
So Wanda Wilcox, Dairy Neck Road in Newcastle. I guess, much like Roger, I'm just really concerned as I get older. And my income is at some point here in the next few years is gonna be less. And times are tough in the country, times are tough in Newcastle. And we talk about, you know, it's gonna be a 3% potentially increase in our taxes this year. Newcastle already has a pretty high tax base. And there are things that we can't control, like the schools and the county, and I get that. So I think, you know, anything that we can control, especially at a town level, we need to tighten our belts and we need to control them, because there are people who can't move to Newcastle or won't be moving to Newcastle because of the taxes. Not that other people don't have high taxes too, but it comes a point that, you know, I know Roger and I look at, keeping some fields in hay growth and some land in tree growth to help us with our taxes, because if we don't, there's gonna be a point that we're not gonna be able to keep that, and to me, that keeps the fields and the woods out in North Newcastle, that keeps the culture of Newcastle and rural, and that keeps what we are. And and if it got to the point that we had to sell some of the parcels, they're just gonna fill up with houses, and that's not what any of us want. I guess it'd be good for the tax base, but that's not what I think rural Newcastle wants to be. And I just feel like the time has come that we have to tighten our budgets. And I think, I'm with Raj in the sense that, especially when I can't pick and choose what I want, there are certain things that we have to have, and I get it. And I want to vote for those things. But I can, in good faith, just go in and check a box and raise, over $3 million when I can't, at least in town meeting. And I think you all have been at town meeting. I think, Roger and I have stood up and other people, and maybe we didn't get the changes that we wanted, but by golly, we had the chance to make them. We had a chance to stand up and at least fight for what we wanted, try to make people understand, try to make them understand. And then, when people say no, well, then you live with the consequences of that. But at least you have that option. And when you're just going in there and checking a box, that doesn't feel good to me. And I just feel like the time has come, especially in this year, and with the government, the uncertainty of the government and everything going up, that, we really have to start tightening our belts. And I don't feel like Newcastle has been doing that at all. I feel like money just grows on trees, and sorry, guys, but it doesn't. So.
Do you have specifics though? Do you have areas? I'm just curious what your thought is on what areas need to be tightened up.
Well, I think road work and like in the snow plowing, and granted the contract went out. But, one of the things, and I've said this in many, many meetings, and I know other people have, but the salt is not included in the contract. And when it snows out there, salt gets put out. Sand doesn't get put out anymore, just salt gets put out. And that isn't in the snowplow budget. You get a bill for that separately, that you're probably signing off on some of that tonight. You're gonna be signing off on salt. Salt's not good for the environment. It's not good for our vehicles. At some point, Newcastle's apt to own some wells, because he puts it out down the North Neck Road, we've gone out sometimes and it looks like salt's been spread. Truly smells. It looks like snow out there. He puts it out. And, we used to be able to drive with just salted sand, but for some reason anymore, we can't do that. So that's one of the big ones. And even the town, we used to run the town with 3 selectmen, and no offense to any of you, but we ran it with 3 selectmen. But now we have 5, and we have a town manager. That's wonderful, but we also have a town planner, and we have, the town has just grown and grown and grown. And I'm not saying that some of that isn't needed, but is it needed all the time? I don't know. It just seems like our town government keeps growing. And with that becomes more expenses, but it also has more cost, and it's just, I don't know. I'm not so sure a town of our size needs all that we have to run it. So I think those are the biggest ones. And if you look at the budget, certainly the snow plowing part of it is huge. And the road work part of it is huge. And I also think, no offense to Seth, but I think, we got the Fox Garden hen house here. When you have somebody that we call the road commissioner that basically gets all the work, there's not a lot of check and balances there in my book. There's just not. And that's where a lot of our money goes. So.
But you're aware we're looking at options.
Huh?
I said you're aware we're looking at options.
Yes, and I certainly support all those options. Very much so. It may cost more in the long run, but in the short run, but in the long run, I think it's gonna save us money, so.
You still have a question?
Yes,
Comment?
Ethan Young, and more of a I'm new in the community, have a question and clarification with regard to the reserve line item. What is the reserve covering, or what is it for? Just real quick, not a big story, just tell me real quick what we hold it for.
Pull it up so I can be accurate for you. You have your funds up? Can you pull that up, Michelle?
The summary.
the reserve funds document that shows our balances as of.
Yep.
End of
I
March.
can do that.
You just have to stop sharing.
So
Yeah.
while they're filling that up, basically reserves are, it's kind of a savings account. Put money
For road?
aside for what we anticipate as being future project, like our capital roads projects. So we anticipate what the project,
Is there a 5-year plan, an 8-year plan, 10-year?
There's an
plan?
8-year plan on the roads component of it. So one of the reserves is for roads.
Mhm.
We're putting about $800,000 a year as part of this budget cycle for some road work. That's
Okay.
outlined in all the documentation that's,
So currently in reserves, what is the total that's in reserves now? All total.
$2.6 million.
Okay, and each year in the past, we've been putting in approximately what, 1 million?
About that, yeah.
Okay, now there's an 8% reduction in reserves. In this budget, correct?
There is a reduction from 9.
In the amount that we're
Yes.
putting in.
Yes,
Total.
Okay,
yep.
what is the justification for that?
The reduction in reserve.
Yes,
To offset some of the budget, but also knowing that we don't have as many efforts to try to get capital projects done. Like the next capital project that we need to do costs more than the 900,000. So
okay,
we're trying to be cognizant of, that's not gonna help us for this conversation now,
Okay.
but that's how much we have left in our reserves. Road says that, but there are projects that are already assigned to that, so.
But there's also one for the fire truck. We're putting money aside every year to help pay for the fire truck we know we need.
okay.
So there's money going into that one.
Now, and this is just all clarification for the budget, you know, for me, the reduction, the 8% reduction of this year for the budget. Is that covered? Is that allowed by the 8-year plan? Or did you have to do something else to the
The
budget?
5-year plan shows that we'll probably have an increase, a little bit of an increase next year. But it'll also identify probably a project or two that need to be bonded.
So there are specific projects identified in this plan, correct?
There are, yep, that's the next
Is,
thing to pull up.
is the plan accessible to me?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Ethan, I'll probably get you added to my agenda distribution and it has.
I am on
You
that.
do.
I do.
Okay, so, I think in the current agenda for tonight's meeting, there is the warrant. And I hope in that warrant, I gave some links to like the budget document. And in there is everything we've discussed on the budget. And actually, can you pull up the,
And they have a link that says all the budget documents can be found here.
yeah, so in that agenda packet, you'll find a link that takes you to all of the budget documents. And if you have any questions, please
Okay, no,
email
I
me.
appreciate it.
Happily walk you through.
The documents that we get are very clear, you know, it's just a matter of reading through them. They are
It's a
lengthy.
lot of
They
information.
are lengthy, and I can understand some frustration on some people when they see these things that. I gotta read this stuff? Yes, you really need to read this stuff, so.
You're
But-
welcome, anybody is welcome to email me with questions, even if you don't want to do all the homework to figure out where it is, I'm
Mhm.
happy to send immediate links to.
It's on our website too, right on the news and notices and on the calendar.
Okay.
Great, thank you, Michelle.
No, that was the question I had, it was mainly around the reserves and just wanted to make sure that these projects that we need to do are protected in the future, since I'm here for the future.
Thank you, Ethan,
So,
appreciate that. Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is really our infrastructure maintenance, that's our highest cost. The other thing is we put money aside for the fire apparatus every year.
Mhm.
It's nowhere near enough, but it's a start. And the conversation the board has had is, yes, we're gonna put some cash into a reserve for this. And when it comes time to buy the truck, we'll pay part in cash and part with a bond.
Yeah.
And try to just balance those needs.
right,
So same with roads, a lot of the projects we have left to do are really big ones. And they're gonna require either federal grants, which I'm trying to chase down now. to address some of these needs, or a larger commitment of taxes to do it, so.
which we don't like to hear.
No one likes to hear it, so we're trying to balance those needs and recognizing both the school budget is up. And the county budget is up. The board made some decisions about trying to keep the municipal budget flat from last year to this year. So it's only up by 0.06%, part of this.
Okay. That was it, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate the questions.
anyone else got a comment regarding the budget?
Is the bottom number a net number, like, from revenue coming in on the governmental services?
Nope,
So that's just an expense side.
it's all just the expense side, so the bottom part, this this just shows you a screenshot of the budget summary for the expense side. The full document has expenses on top, revenues on top, and what we assume will be the property tax amount that we'll have to
So
levy.
ultimately with that offset, that's gonna lower.
That lowers that amount, well, the offset hasn't increased as much as the budget has increased.
Right.
So it actually increases the property
Right.
tax, like, it's 3%.
Right.
That's what it comes out to be.
And we approved a couple bonds. Are they reflected in that?
They're not as part of this upcoming fiscal year, because the timing of borrowing would line up more with the next fiscal year.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Can we take just a second to reiterate too that what we're doing this year for the budget is not necessarily what we're gonna do next year for the budget, and we can be flexible on how we approach this. Whether it's town meeting again, or whether it's on the ballot again, whether it's one question, or we end up with 60 questions. I mean, the options are ours. So we can talk about it after this year and see how this one goes, and hopefully we'll have an exit poll and see how people like it, hate it, whichever it is. Well, we don't care. We don't care which way we go as a town. So whatever the people want to do is what we want to do.
The effort here was to try to increase participation.
Absolutely. Instead of 50 people, we might have 500 people. We might have 300 people. We don't know.
More than
We
that, I
could
think.
have 800 or 900 people voting on the budget, right? So, yeah, that's the real intent, to increase participation if possible.
Rob,
Just want to say,
Rob, about the budget, do you mind coming up?
yeah, sure. Okay.
Oh,
Just wanted to say, I totally get the balance between participation and, I like town meeting. I mean, I enjoy it, the back and forth and all that, but I totally get that that's not a very large group to be deciding the $3 million budget for the town. So I totally get the dilemma and the challenge there. But what I just wanted to say is I'm impressed with the quality of the information and the presentation of the budget, and wish that we'd had it when I was on the board. So thank you.
It did make life a little easier.
It looks a lot easier.
Anyone else?
Can I just say one more quick thing?
Yeah, but Roger, you gotta come back up to the seat.
Let's see. I was on the finance committee, as you all know, this year. And I don't really know what a function was. But I feel like we didn't have enough input or say in much of the discussion. So I don't know what the function of the finance committee really was. Now, back when we had a budget committee, they recommended yay or nay on the different budget items. But the finance committee, it was just a listening session, I guess is what I would describe it. I didn't feel that they had enough input. So going forward, whether we have it anymore or whether they're given more responsibility but I don't feel like we were able to participate very much.
thank you for that feedback.
But perhaps that's the last comment, and if it is, I'm gonna close the public hearing at 7:31 PM. So without objection, public hearing is closed. So we're gonna go into our regular select board meeting. Welcome to stick around. If you're gonna leave, maybe take a few minutes and you can leave, but. Good, great. So we got a full audience. Okay, calling the order our April 13th select board meeting for the town of Newcastle. Starting with item number 2, any amendments to the agenda? All right, hearing none. Minutes from the previous meeting, March 23rd, any questions on that?
Move to approve. As presented.
Second.
Nope.
You got it.
Any discussion on that further?
Good.
All those in favor? Motion passes with 5 members. This seems redundant. Any comments not on the agenda? Roger, please come forward.
Oh, you're up and down tonight.
Yeah, it seems like I'm the only one participating here. All right, so. As we spend a lot of money on our roads, we're spending a small fortune on our roads. And we let him destroy our road. So, I mean, I don't get the point of posting roads. Last year, we had the same conversation this time of the year when I complained about him being on these roads when he shouldn't have been. And you stuck up for him, Karen, and you said he has every right as a town official to be on that road working on it. Well, I'm here to tell you that he doesn't have that right. No town official, no contractor, no representative, no employee has a right to go and destroy town property. And that's what he did. That's gross negligence, what he did to our road. And I walk that road every single day for exercise, all the way out to Bill Weary's. I know every crack in that road. And I know what that road was before he started working on it. And I can see how he destroyed that road with that fleet of triaxles, 70,000-pound trucks. When you walk on the road, you can feel it squish under your feet. And he's gonna send a whole fleet of triaxles down that road. That's gross negligence and incompetence, as far as I'm concerned. And I mean, to me, you cannot work on a road when it's soaking wet and totally unstable and totally saturated with groundwater. The water's coming right up through the road. And he's out there with a grader and these triaxles trying to do maintenance. It's absurd. And he should know better. He's supposed to be the road commissioner. Well, he's totally incompetent. And I think he should go. He should be fired for that. There's no need of that. You know, a posted road I'm very familiar with posted roads. And with few exceptions, okay, you're not allowed to be on a posted road. There's oil trucks, there's gas trucks. If there's a farm on the road, the farm milk truck can go and pick up the milk. But nobody has a right to be on there when they're doing damage. Now, if it's below freezing, you can haul on a road that's posted if it's below freezing. Once the temperature gets above freezing, you have to get off. Now, to me, the grader operator, he's another one. He's totally incompetent in his job. That grader job he did, where the pavement ends and the gravel starts, there's a bunch of potholes there. Well, some of them he didn't even deal with. And the ones that he did, he just cut them off the top, and they're going to be right back in a couple of days. So, and the rest of the road, he's got all this gravel coming, and so the road in front of my house is 10 feet wide. So as the road goes out, it gets way over 20 feet wide because he's got all this gravel he don't know what to do with, so he pushes it out into the shoulders, fills in the ditches. And the water this morning, when I was walking down that road, has no crown in it. It's completely flat. And there's puddles of water right in the middle of the road. Now, and we're paying for this. He's supposed to be grading this road and put a crown back in it so the water has a place to go. And the gravel that's in the shoulders should be pulled onto the road to make a crown. And it's just totally gross negligence is what it is. And to me, it needs to stop. And I don't know, Kevin, you made part of a statement about he is agreed to go out and fix that pavement? Is
I
that,
spoke to him today about that, yeah.
and he's agreed to do that?
Yes, he has.
Okay.
Now, there's more details, but I'm not at liberty to share right now, so.
Yeah,
Roger, what time do you go for your walk in the morning?
it varies on the day, what I've got on my schedule. Do you want to come out
Yeah, I'm
tomorrow?
gonna come walk with you.
What time do you want to go? I'll meet you.
8 o'clock?
Perfect. Anybody else want to join? I think you should.
So, yeah, we can have two of us there, but,
Right, we can't have 3 of us, because then we have a forum and that's not allowed.
And I
Well,
sent you guys the photos.
You can come at
Yes,
separate
no,
times.
I'd like to walk and actually
Yeah,
hear the
absolutely.
commentary, because I don't know, I go down your road once a year, maybe.
Yeah,
The other piece I need to address is the gravel and grading.
Yeah.
Roger's not wrong, it was
Yeah. No, I'm sure he's
terrible
not.
job.
I'm sure he's not. I just would like to see it, so.
Yeah.
You know, if the residents are having trouble getting out of our road, and it has happened in past years, right? I mean, and so to me, a competent road commissioner would bring a 6-wheeler truck and dump a couple of loads of gravel to get the people in and out, and then come back and do your maintenance when the ground is firmed up and dried out and is able to hold up this equipment. You don't bring that in this time of year. It's absurd. It's ridiculous. And he gets away with it. I complained last year, nothing was done. Is something gonna change this year? So we don't come back and do it again.
I was out there with you Saturday, Roger, working on a solution, only been 2 days.
I just, to me, it's just, I am angry about this
No,
because we've been through this before. And he gets away with it. He's had trouble in every road and every town he's ever worked in. And the reason why he don't have trouble here is because he does as he damn well pleases and nobody stops him. So, I mean, to me, it needs to stop here and he needs to do his job like it should be done. Because what he's doing is not working. It's definitely not working.
thanks, Roger. Rufus, I'll try to be up there.
Okay,
I think I can.
I pick you up if you want.
Great.
You know where he lives?
Any other comments not on the agenda? Kevin, can you come forward, please?
Well, I was just wondering who gave him authority to start grading the roads on the posted,
It's the road commissioner,
and who's that again?
Seth Hager.
Who is it?
Seth Hager.
Seth Hagan?
Uh-huh.
He's a road commissioner,
He is Newcastle's road commissioner.
Yeah. so he just started grading without you guys knowing anything about it?
Fortunately, yes.
Yeah, and he's hauled material in there, correct? Do you know that? You don't know that?
I'm certain the material has been brought in, yes.
How many yards, do you know?
I am unaware of how many yards.
So he could have one
He has
one
a-
yard
He has a
or
budget,
300
he has a
yards?
budget, and he's.
Oh, he has a
sticking to
budget. What's the budget?
About $40,000 for the year.
Okay, so he could, no matter where it is,
On one of our dirt roads, yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's how you work that.
He informs me when it's done, usually, but not usually before.
It,
I get
is
a bill.
anybody overseeing this road commissioner?
Our annual maintenance contract in the past has me involved in when major projects are done. I am not overseeing the day-to-day operations of it, but I am overseeing the capital improvement projects. As a testing the temperature, making sure the trucks are on time, and making sure that what's being done is what we agreed to.
So Kevin, the way the system,
What?
just, hold on a second. The way the system works, just maybe for everybody else to understand it, is when we go through our pre-budget cycle, we meet with each department head, which is the road commissioner. And he goes through a work program for the next year. And in that, we'll set aside money for budgeting for things like gravel, all the maintenance, et cetera. On the day-to-day basis, we don't talk to Seth. He's an employee of the town. And so
It shows it.
he's directly responsible through Kevin. So Kevin is sort of the clearinghouse for that.
So you got a $40,000 budget is what you got going on. And you don't know how many yards on the road, he might haul a couple hundred yards and
I can.
How do you know?
I can pull, well, because it's on our invoices when we get billed for it. So I know how much is on there based on that.
I see. Was a road commissioner there when he was grading the road? The other day on South Dianeck and North Dianeck, was he there?
I don't know if he was there or.
You ought to ask the question if he was there.
We'll ask the question if he was there. I
Yeah,
don't know the answer.
yeah, cause you'd think a road commissioner from the town of Newcastle say, hey, wait a minute, you're staving up a hot top. You'd think, wouldn't you?
Mhm.
Would you think that?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I think it's time for him to leave. Would you agree? Has he had any warnings, written up warnings? On about different things?
I don't discuss personnel matters publicly.
This is public.
I don't discuss personnel matters publicly.
Maybe the board will.
I would advise them not to discuss personnel matters publicly.
I mean, we're talking about the town of Newcastle, the road commissioner. Has he been written up by doing wrong things for the town of Newcastle?
We cannot and will not discuss it publicly.
No,
No.
Can't, Kevin, that's an HR issue.
no,
It's
No.
illegal.
It is.
no.
So
I just, maybe we ought to read, maybe a resident in Newcastle would kind of like the job.
I don't have any money in the current FY 27 budget.
How do you-
for road committee.
Well, how do you know he wouldn't do it for, well,
$2,000?
free?
Huh?
If
Reach
someone
out there.
Approach us. If someone wants to do it for free.
I understand we're not paying this Newcastle road commissioner anything. And he's costing us money. Thank you.
all right, Kevin, thanks. Anybody else have a comment? Hearing none, moving on. Unfinished business, annual town meeting warrant. So. Kevin, I mean, this is what we're gonna be putting forward to the town. And
Yeah, most of this is usually you find in your annual town meeting. Public when we do, what we're requesting is that this be done all as ballot questions, so the draft of this is. What the public will see ahead of time. If they request their ballot, each of these articles would be on the ballot for them to vote on. If they've requested absentee, if they show up on the day of the voting, by secret ballot, they vote on all of these articles.
Okay.
In addition to, the one-offs for. Like visually, it'll look a little different, but the language will all be the same on the ballot. Cause it identifies the 4 elected positions to select board. One trustee for the Great Salt Bay Sanitary District and 1 member of the school board. Those would be displayed differently than what they look like on the warrant. this warrant is for the public to understand that that's coming up.
Is there a reason why there's still Article 1 to elect a moderator?
You still have to have a moderator, but we are required, without having a charter. We are required to have a annual town meeting.
Yep.
And the select board has the right to say, we want any article on the secret ballot portion of it. So what this board is elected to do is have all of our articles on secret ballot, but it's still considered our annual town meeting.
So we'll have a, before the
At 8
polls
o'clock in
open,
the
at 8
morning,
o'clock, we'll have a nomination.
so a few people will show up, probably mostly election clerks. Who are here at exactly 8 o'clock. They will participate in the process of electing a moderator. And then the polls will be open. People can just come in and vote by secret ballot.
So we'll give this.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And one of us will serve as deputy moderator, so they don't have to stay all day.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I think Michelle knows those nuances.
So really, all we're doing here is setting the date, June 9th. This is
Approving the warrant articles themselves.
approving what we have here as the warrant articles, 23 articles.
Yeah, Article 2 is for those positions. Articles 3 through 6 are related to the budget. The sum of those four equal the dollar amount for municipal summary that was up a little while ago. That document showed, four of those added together equals. So just so people understand, we separated out provider agencies as well as provider agencies that had gone and gotten petition signatures. So there's 3 related to provider agencies, and then the rest of the budget is one amount. The rest of the articles, or most of the rest of the articles, are related to authorities, either given to the select board or the treasurer. And then the last article is related to the Robinson Road discontinuance. And yeah, so most of these articles are related to authorizations to give the board ability to do work on a monthly basis rather than the limit of a special town meeting or waiting till annual town meeting.
The wording on these is just the same as if you're in the annual town.
There was-
It's the ones we oftentimes lump together and vote on all at once.
Yes, correct. There were some modifications, especially around the foreclosure. As that process has changed, even last year it should have been changed, but. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. I know Michelle updated the numbers and figures. There was 7%.
We changed dates, but if you check something, we tried to go down through it very carefully.
And the 7% is what the state. 7% for
The interest rate.
interest rate. That was what the state said.
Yep.
You have the authority to lower that. You can't go higher, correct?
Correct.
But other than that, I don't have much else to say about this.
7% isn't a bad interest rate these days.
No,
That's it.
unfortunately.
Not part of the warrant, but leave it be a correction in the, under the background commentary. The FY 27 link where it says FY 27, it thinks it 26 instead of 27.
Oh, oops, okay, I can fix that. Thank you for catching that.
Just pulled it up and I clicked the summary and I'm like, that's not the same numbers as this year.
Okay.
That paragraph though, that won't be on the ballot, will it?
No,
That's just for.
that's just for the
Background
that's
information.
for our,
Right. And so. Useless and.
I was just seeing if somebody else is getting this agenda at home and is opening up links and stuff, they might get directed.
Well, Ethan, for example, might go click on that and then get to the wrong one anyway,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna fix that tonight.
All right, any other questions on? This item? Anybody want to set a motion on this?
Sure, I set a motion, set the annual town meeting warrant for June 9th. And to send those to Michael Titus. It's you, to inform the inhabitants of the town of Newcastle of said meeting.
Second.
Okay, thanks, Karen. And Rufus, any opinions not expressed yet on this?
No, I do wanna just say that, I do feel somewhat responsible for the, direction we're taking with town meeting this year. I also really enjoy town meeting. But I think this is a worthwhile experiment. And, I look back and this will be the first year, in 15 years that I didn't create the,
That.
Oh, yeah.
The PowerPoint.
the PowerPoint for annual town meeting. For the clickers, so that's a little nostalgic for me. But I think it's worth a test, worth an experiment.
Yeah, so those are words, live by the sword, die by the sword, and, but I gotta say, we did discuss it as the board quite a bit, and I think we. We came to the conclusion, not to mention, not to forget to mention that this was voted on by the town last year. Under slim margins, it did pass, and we recognize that. As the board, but still feel that this is worth going forward, at least that how this works.
I think it's gonna be very important to have an exit poll.
Feedback.
We're gonna need feedback so that we can decide if the experiment is a good one or a failure. So I think, and I don't, we don't need to do that as part of the, as part of this process, but we should be in the near future coming up with that. Near future agenda item should be
Exit poll.
that exit poll,
Yeah.
questionnaire.
Great. Any other discussion points, opinions? Take a vote, all those in favor? Motion passes 5 members, so. Item 6A, new business, MMA municipal internship grant, looks like $4,500 for. Was it like a summer intern?
For a summer intern. That'll cover actually all of our share, because we're splitting families out of this year. To do a lot of, our focus for this intern is really on road inventory. And update to the work we did 2 years ago, to identify where our problem areas are, to update that, but also take full inventory of. Culverts, catch basins, everything that maintained or have to maintain. And in both towns, so we have a more accurate understanding what needs to get done, including ditch work. Tree trimming, all that stuff, so we have a better benchmark. When we're working with Damerscott to figure out what a proper cost share should be.
This is the work that Kara started a few years ago.
Kara started a few years ago. What she did is she did the matrix for what's called RSMS. It's a software that the state DOT created that rates your roads based on alligatoring and linear cracks and browning and ruts and all.
That's where we get the map with the red, yellow.
Red, yellow, green,
green.
yep. And so what I wanna do is, it's been 2 years, I want this intern to recollect that data for our town, as well as Damerscott. As well as GPS all of our inventory. So we know what we have,
Know where the culvert
where things are, take photos, all that stuff. So that's a real focus of this intern this year. An intern through this program costs about 5,000. And because we're splitting with Damerscott, 4,300 will cover more than our share.
Nice. Good job finding more money.
Plan.
I'll make the motion to accept the Maine Municipal Association Municipal Internship Grant for $4,300.
$6.
One second.
Thanks, Rufus. Any other discussion on this?
they would start in June or the first of July?
June,
June.
and yeah, it's, or even May, potentially May, depends on when they're programmed, wherever they're coming from, whatever grad.
Okay.
Might be June. It does start in this fiscal year.
Okay. Let's take a vote. All those in favor? Motion passes with 5 numbers. Item 7A, fiscal warrants, FY 26 AP warrant for $467,992.59.
I'll move it as presented.
Second.
It's been Karen. Any other questions, comments?
Just curious when that, the solar power is gonna start kicking in. What our EV bill? I know it's been very,
It's been a pretty dismal winter,
Yeah,
and we
no.
only got started in September, so I had a
I'm
feeling,
aware,
I know, it hurts.
I did pull up September a year ago. Both to see how they compared, and I think we spent $1,200 on electricity then, so
Great. So, yeah,
a little bit.
There is improvement,
Yeah.
definitely improvement,
When the sun starts shining, it'll be better.
yes, it will. And the biggest expense here is tied to mill bridge replacement,
Yeah.
the $308,000.
you have an update on that in your.
There is an update inside there, yep.
I figured it was.
Alrighty, any other comments on the warrant? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor? Motion passes with 5 numbers. Kevin, can you go through your town manager report? Item 8?
I can. And even since I sent it, I've updated a little bit because I got some more information. Of course, now I gotta find my tab. Yep, looking for more things while the conversation was happening, so. So speaking of grants, made you all aware that we received a CDC grant. Actually, Damerscotta received it. We were also an applicant on that document. But because it was Damerscotta's grant, their board has accepted it. They did a process to do a bid, they did an RFP, they got responses for the RFP. This is for the first responder housing, specifically, I think, for fire department. So trying to address firefighter housing needs. What we did is the 2 towns submitted an application that said we'd like to find a location in our town, each of our towns, to address firefighter housing. What the SME, their proposal was scored the highest and had the lowest price. Well, there's a link to the RFP if you want to review it. Ideally, what we're looking to do is add on to this building and put maybe the town hall on the first floor and some firefighter housing upstairs on the second floor. The goal is, these would be town-owned units, and tenants would be expected to volunteer with the fire department for a reduced rent. That's a concept. I don't know how late it's gonna play, but at least it's something we're looking. So that's what the engineers are looking at. Or if it's not attached to this building, it's set on the site where the tree is over there. So that's what we're looking at. So we had our first meeting with them last week. Both towns, as well as SME is doing another grant with Coastal Rivers Conservation Trust. So we were at their site, had a long conversation about timeline. We're gonna plan to do some community and public engagement opportunities in July and August. And the 30% design concept should be ready by September. And depending on decisions by the board, looking at going further to the 90% design. If that's what we want to do. The village public outreach. So we've had 6 listening sessions over the previous 2 months. There's an overview link there for each of the sessions. I want to thank all the community members who did attend and provided feedback during those meetings. And residents who attended all 3 themes for the last 2 months. So the best news, we're not done. And I identified a whole lot of stuff we're trying to really focus in on, including this housing and potential town hall relocation. The streetscape redesign on Glidden Street, the town-owned property off of Mills Road, the VPI. What's really interesting about the VPI, and I mentioned it as a future agenda item, that got approved last April, the preliminary pre-engineering report. The DOT decided to submit our project as part of a congressional discretionary spending for FY 28, whatever the fiscal year is, October. So we may or may not have federal funding to do a big piece of that project.
Great.
We as a community would still be responsible for the 10%. And so part of that grant allocates 10% of the full project is about 937,000. So that will be a question for this community about supporting that. But if we scale it back, obviously we don't do the full thing. That's what they at least pitched early enough. So we do have to have a conversation about this as a select board and a larger community, supporting a bond to do that. Or if we get paid for FEMA, we could use that money. Okay. We're summarizing what we learned from those sessions, and we'll get that information back out to everyone. The results from the individual are linked in those comments. And then we are currently looking to engage with high school students as part of this effort, because that was a voice that was missing from our sessions before. So Lisa has offered to do that at no additional cost, because she really believes that's a component we don't have included in the conversation yet. So thank you to all of you. Newcastle had full representation at our joint public works or joint select board meeting discussing a joint Damascus Newcastle Public Works Department on March 25th. I've included links to the presentation that was given, the draft interlocal agreement, the draft budget, draft list of policies, and then the website where you can find all of the recordings from all of the workshops, including that meeting as well. So I know that what came from that meeting was we're not ready to put something on the warrant that you just approved. We need a little more time to delve into the numbers and understand the implications. So I do hope that by November 2026, or in this case in my thing it says 2202.6, but that by November we will have a better idea of what the select boards want to do in the two communities. It'd be good to start at least planning that for next year's budget process. Patriots Day is next Monday, the 20th. The offices will be closed. Posted roads are still up, and we've talked a lot about that tonight. Hopkins Hill Road, all drainage work is complete, including culverts and catch basins. The machine that reclaims the old asphalt is down, should be repaired soon, and the asphalt plant that we use is not up and running yet. Should be fired up by the end of the week or early next week. So given this, it may be a few more weeks before all the work is done on Hopkins Hill Road. River Road sidewalk, that project is getting underway with the curbing tomorrow. And when the asphalt plant opens, they'll take care of that as well. So those two projects should finish up well before the end of May. Work has started on other public work has started on gravel and grading on our dirt roads. Sweeping passes have been made, and we're getting in line to get the striping done, because there's basically one vendor. So it's how much leverage you can hold over the company. Lynch Road detour, there's a link there to the inspection reports. The most recent informs us that they will be wrapping up in the water very soon. In fact, their deadline is coming up very closely, and it'll be a tight question of whether they can get it done in time. But you say within a day or two from the deadline, they're supposed to hold. So they get to deal with DEP from that point.
I just have one comment on that, because I happened to see one of the guys at Demascota Harbor and I was like, hey, how's it going down there? And he said, well, the coffer dam washed out again. So they've been struggling.
Yeah.
It's been a real challenge.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're still more or less on schedule is kind of a miracle, I guess.
They have been working weekends to
Yeah.
try to get this done. So yeah, the CPM expects to be out of the water on for a few days in water work deadline. So. I mentioned before, we've only had a few change orders, not even close to hitting our contingency, so. We're doing okay, given how difficult challenging this project has been. And then the battery lending program, you can see there's about 18 of them in this room now, but we have 27 batteries. There's 9 of them in the town office. The last piece I'm missing to get this going is attorney review of the waiver that I drafted. So once that's done, we'll be ready to reach out to the residents of Newcastle to get them signed up for this program. I have about 16 people who've already signed up. If anybody is interested, there's a link in my manager report where you can call the town office and we'll get your email down. It's really gotta come in for a quick training on how to use the equipment, and then review the waiver and sign it. Which is trying to address liability here, but these are great for things like in the summertime, keeping your fridge running if the power goes out. Or in the wintertime, keeping a little space heater or your Rinnai running. So they're not meant to run your house, but they're meant to help keep you in your home during a major weather event. That's all I have.
Also completely funded by an grant.
That's correct. Yes, sorry, that was a community action grant through the state of Maine. That along with the battery backup system that we now have running in this building. That is meant to keep this place open as a warming and cooling center during extreme events.
I just want to say, I don't think it can be underappreciated, the news about the congressional acknowledgement for our downtown district.
Yeah,
That is amazing. So,
the VPI.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really great phone call. In fact, I was walking with Tor talking, call, just elated.
Yeah, no, he couldn't talk for about.
That put it in the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
Yep, where it was not.
All right, thanks, Kevin, and future agenda items, I'll just mention. 9.A, main DOT CDS request. And then item 9B, dedication.
Oh, yes,
recognition
I
application.
meant to include that one in my, we did get an application for a bench in Veterans Park. I just did not have time to pull it together for tonight, so. I'll bring it to you on the next meeting.
Yeah, thanks. Alrighty, so we have I'm gonna say a few, but we actually have 2 executive session items here. So what I think we can do is go into the first 2 under the abatement,
One at a time.
one at a time.
I just gave you 2 links to the different motions that represent why you go into executive session for property abatement. That's all.
Okay,
That
so-
the first one is 1.
So we're gonna come in and go out of 3 different 2.
The
Well-
first one's either or.
And then we have an item B, 10B, so I'm just saying 3.
Yeah, the first one's either or.
And either or. It says and.
I know.
It does, it should say or. Just either one of those gets you into executive session to address this matter.
Okay. So we'll do the first one, so. Motion to move the board into executive session, Title 1, Section 405. 6. Item F. Under poverty abatement.
So moved.
Seconding.
Great, all in favor? Nice.